very happy and delighted to present to you our all-new enhanced payment processing platform, which we call PT2. This dashboard is designed, of course, to enhance your customer experience and help you streamline payment processes. Take you to this login page. It would then give you an option to log into your old dashboard, which majority of the attendees assuming have PT1 dashboard. And for this, you would have to choose PT2 dashboard, select the country where you are in, and proceed to log in. All right, so let's just log in. Right. So this is our dashboard. This is the merchant dashboard. Ultimately, when your account is live, it would give you an option as well. There's another feature that you would see, which is accounts panel, which would give you an overview of all of your transactions that took place in your account. Keep in mind, mine is a test dashboard. So these are all test transactions, and in this page, it will give you the transactions today, the total sales today, and as well as the sales for that particular month. All right, and then when you go to your profile page, it would give you the option to, or it would show you the account details, which is the registration, the email address that you used during the registration, as well as it would give you the option to basically enable the two-factor authentication. Our dashboard is, so this only dashboard is customizable. You will be able to customize your own logo. That's what I was trying to say. And then your payment can now be shared via social media platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and you will also be able to send your payment links via SMS, QR codes, and as well as emails. And what is the difference between this dashboard and the old dashboard? In this dashboard, you would have the ability to have multiple profiles in one MID. Whereas in the previous dashboard or in the previous system, you would have to create multiple MIDs to be able to facilitate your payments. Whereas here, you would have a consolidated view of that, and you can keep adding profile, creating going to or adding your team members. So I understand that you have different teams that is monitoring your payment processing, such as marketing, such as accounts, and you can then create a member. Very easy steps. You simply click on the plus button to add their email address, and then they would then receive a link for them to activate their account. All right, and then once you've done that, you can very well see who are the pending invitations, and you have an option to remind them whether to activate their accounts or not. All right, so let's go to your profile. Your profile will show you everything about your account. The MID. As you can see, the MID has also been shortened. Previously, in the PT1 platform, the MID starts with 100. Here in this new dashboard, you have a shortened MID. Of course, your merchant name, your website, and your customer contact details, to which you've also declared all that during the registration process. Okay, so now we move on to developers page. Developers, of course, This is very important for people that are integrating with us, whether via API or whether via pre-built integrations. What do I mean by pre-built integrations? As you know, we support various plugins such as Magento, OpenCart, and it's a very simplified integration to which is very convenient for the merchants. All right, so for that as well, when I mentioned earlier that you can customize your own page and your own logo, you can do that by clicking the pay page, and then you can upload your own logo. You can set the header as you like, the colors according to your branding, and then be, even before saving that, you can have a preview. And when you're happy, you can simply save it as needed. Okay, so now let's move on to second. Let me go back to that dashboard. Okay, there you go. And now we create an invoice, which is very important for all of us. You need to be able to send payment links and invoice to your customers if you're using a normal pay page. How do you do that? You simply, there are two ways to do it. You can either upload in bulk, or you can create a single invoice. So let me try that. So when creating an invoice, you have two options, which is standard and template. I would recommend you creating a template so that every time you need to send an invoice to your customers, you can just simply edit it as you go. Okay? So, but for this webinar, description, customer reference. This is your reference. You could do, let's say, clothing. You decide on the description and the customer reference. It's there for you. It's flexible and it's there for you to customize it. Invoice reference, activation date. You can set the activation date of an invoice. You can even command the expiration. If you want the invoice to have an expiry and valid for a month, that's up to you. The description, unit price, okay, quantity. Yeah, it automatically calculates the quantity, and then it automatically, if you decide that there is a discount, it's there for you to do that. You do it for GCC countries. We have tax 15% in KSA and 5% in UAE. You can do that. You can either use the percentage or you can use the amount. So for this purpose, I will use the percentage, and of course the name. Make sure you fill in all the information that's required. You can decide whether it is a shipping details or not. For physical goods, you don't need the shipping details. For this purpose, I will fill in the invoice. And save and send, or you could save it. All right, so in terms of payment, you can either do a test yourself as a merchant. You can copy this link and proceed with payment. All right, so for testing purposes, which is very useful for merchants, we have a designated test card that you can use. Okay. info of, yeah, so your email, region, and pay. Yep. And then you can then go back to your previous dashboard. All the transactions that took place, you can very easily, it's visible via the transaction panel. As a customer, it's very important for you to know the payment method, the customer details. All of these information is there for you to have a look at or to refer to. And then when you want to when you want to execute a refund, it's right here. You put in the refund amount, cannot exceed the, of course, the transaction amount, and submit it. And now when you go back, and you see this card icon right here, this tells you that this specific invoice has been paid for. So you can feel free to click that, and it would take you to the transaction related to that specific invoice. Okay, so now let's move on to the invoice properties. I am going to click on the invoice that has been paid for. You as a merchant, you have an option to duplicate that or to view it. And then it would give you the details of the invoice once you click view. And you can either duplicate that as well. Okay, so let's do a pending invoice which haven't been paid for. The elements of the invoice page, you can copy the link to your clipboard. You can also save it on via PDF. You can send it by email, or you can simply just click pay. Or you can, if you decide that you need to change something like a description perhaps, then you can then edit that and send or view. So all of these are there for you to explore. Okay. So another interesting feature that, of course, before I move on, you can either export the invoice, all of these invoices, via Excel or CSV. Or you can use a search parameters, and let's say you're looking for a specific invoice that was created yesterday, then you can go ahead and search via parameter, which is the date. Paylinks. So what is Paylinks? This is very useful in terms of creating a payment link and posting it via social media. Let's do a test. I have one here that's already active, which can be sent via QR code, or you can send it via social panel, but via social platform. So here's the type. Let's create one. Cart test webinar URL. You can put your URL here. What's the importance of this is when a merchant or when a customer is done paying or checking out, and then the currency, you decide the amount. Donation mode, this is for charity organization. That's also there for their usage. You can decide whether a shipping details would be required or not, and then you can enable the pay link and post it on your social media. So it could be like a promotion or maybe registration fee for schools, for example. Registration fee 2021, and choose an open graph. the image shouldn't exceed, um, the maximum size is 4096 megapixels and 4996 by 4996. So for this, I'm not gonna, I can then, okay, so picture, there you go, save. And then you can copy the link and post it as usual into your social media or send it via WhatsApp. Okay, so that's the creation, invoice creation and pay link creation. Once you, as I've mentioned earlier, once these invoices and the payment link is paid, you can go back to your transactions. It would tell you the transactions that's been paid, declined, or whatever. The status of the transaction that's viewable here. It's visible right here. A means authorized, D means declined, for you. Then you, if it's, let's say, invalid CVV, then you can contact your customer, ask them to try to pay once again. And then approve transactions, authorize and approve, and then you can initiate a refund once transaction is approved. All right, another thing that's very important is the reports. For creating a reports, you can, we have daily, weekly, and monthly report. So you can create your own layout. Right. Add all layout webinar. And then schedule, whether you can enable the daily reports, you can enable your weekly reports, and what is the format that you would like to have, and you can indicate the email address where the report would be dispatched and save. All right. Another very important thing is, of course, how do you get paid as a merchant? So let me, there will be an accounts panel here. The frequency of payout that we do have at the moment, we have three. That's system triggered. We have a manual payout. What do I mean by that? It's you as a merchant initiate the payout whenever you would like. It could be every day, it could be every week, it could be once a month. And we also have another payout setup which we didn't have before in our old platform. We have the automatic monthly, so then you won't have to worry about it. So what happens is that you decide what date. Could be first week of the month. It could be 15th of the month, and you also are able to define the threshold. So you could say 10,000 dirhams every first of the month. A payout is triggered. Yeah, and so and we're in, for instance, you have a customer, you're a regular customer, and you need to send them an invoice on a regular basis. You can do that by creating a repeat invoice or repeat billing. So you simply just fill in the agreement details, the currency, the payment, initial payment, followed up by how many times, how many payments are needed, um, payment of 100, for example, every first of the month, and installment. first installment, when is it gonna be, and the final payment if you need to. If you have the customer reference, which I hope you do, you can fill that in. And save. Okay. Yep. All right. So we're ready to take some questions in the chat. Do we have some questions?
Yes, Karen, there are. If you look at the chat, I think Pam, she had a couple of questions on the invalid username. It's resolved. Okay.
Okay. Can't seem to find the chat section. Any other questions?
So Ahmed is asking, can you please explain more about the integration mapping for merchants which are not yet in production?
For merchants that are still not in production.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are already a merchant in PT1, we can enable a proxy for you. There are things that we do need, which are the secret keys. Secret keys you can find in the API keys. There will be a mapping sample here, and this is something that can be done from our side. And Walid can share with you a sample of how it is being done. Walid, are you here?
Hi, KL. Good evening, everybody. So, KL, sorry to ask, is this particular for this guy Ahmed for the integrations?
Yeah.
Okay, so as he mentioned, I guess he's using the test profile, and you know the integration mappings are not available by default for the test profiles. So in that case, Ahmed, if you are not able to find the integration mappings, so you just need to pass your merchant email and website URL domain. Just share it with us, and we will enable it from our side. And after that, you will be able to find the integration mappings under the developers portal. Yeah, and your email address and site URL domain in this chat, and I'll copy and will keep you posted on this through the email.
Okay. Walid, would you like to guide them through the API integration, please?
Yeah, sure.
And then I'll read out the question. You can grab the screen too.
Yeah, I'm just checking my developers portal. Just a minute. Can you see my screen, guys?
Yes, yeah. There is a video, right?
Mine is the one with video. Walid, would you share your screen? There you go.
Can you see, guys?
Yes, Walid, you can proceed.
Okay. So on the developers portal, as KL mentioned earlier, that we are providing a couple of methods to support the integrations, so to connect with your platforms. So first section, I would like to introduce. This is the pre-built integrations. If you are using any ready-made platform like integration methods with the built-in plugins. This is very simple integration method to configure with your platforms. Okay, so you can just choose any ready-made plugin in that case if you are using any similar platform. Else, if you are using any customized platform like you are using PHP, Laravel, any other programming language, and you want some customized integration method, then you can choose our transaction APIs. Okay, all these methods can be chosen by your site, but the above first two methods, own forms and the managed forms, is required actually a minimum PCI DSS certifications. So if you are a PCI certified merchant, then you can go with the first two methods. Else you can choose or transaction API as a normal merchant. Okay. All to have a look and have a read through this documentations, and they will be able to understand what's the exact flow and how they can control this APIs integrations to configure with your platforms. All the requests we are providing to create the pay page links, and then what are the responses we are sending back after creating the pay page, and everything is available on this documentation, and whatever the sportive details for this APIs, everything will be available here. So it's mandatory for your developers or technical guys to have a look in this documentation, and then we can assist further in case of any difficulty or for the matters. So we can provide assistance, and what are the credentials you need to pass for this API, that typically be able to find the keys. Actually, it's not showing in my profile, but for your profiles, it will be showing. Okay? So, and the second thing you need is the profile ID. Profile ID you'll be able to see in this documentation, and you just need to put with your create pay page request. And these are the mandatory informations for this transaction API. Okay, so let's just move back from this step. Yeah, and rest all things I guess KL already mentioned, like the pay page settings, how you can open this and customize your pay page as you happy, and you can just set this up. And for the merchant directly be able to see the integration mappings, the credentials like secret key, merchant ID under this section, the integration mappings. Okay. And our test cards are available here in this section, and you can just during the integration you can just debug your APIs. You can check the logs in case of if you are receiving any issues, having any difficulty, so you can just debug the API logs from your side to check what's the exact error. Okay, and if a merchant is using the SDK and for the Apple Pay integrations, we are providing some valid certificates. So for those particular merchants, they need to come under this section to upload their certificate. And okay, so it's not showing all of this, just unable to process the request. Yeah, and here's the payment notifications. Yeah, let me just finish this, so check this here. Okay, here's the payment notification section. We are providing a couple of service types for the payment notifications. So TL, please, can you share your screen now?
Yes, Walid.
Please, thank you. Uh, Vaji, sorry, Vaji, I guess there is some sort of server issue is coming. Is that?
No, it's okay with my account. So
Okay. Can you? All right. So let me read some of the chats. Chat section. All right. So Pam, I'm happy that you have resolved the login issue. One second. Let me see. All right. Okay. All right. So let me move on to the other questions. And upgrade from PT1 to PT2. The login page that I shared earlier, let me, when you go to PayTabs dashboard, you can, see. Let's go back to that page wherein I was able to, all right. So this takes you to the login page. If you don't have a PT2 account yet, chances are you already have one. You have been created a PT2 account. You simply should just retrieve your password. Someone is checking the back end right now. So basically just hit forget password and you will be sent a link to reset your password, and that link is valid for 24 hours. Okay, so let's move on to the next question. Walid has already explained the mapping. Pam, you mentioned that when you try to add a new team member, you get an error. Please share your MID and your profile ID. Send a ticket request to customercare@paytabs.com. We will look into what sort of error you're facing. Retrieve your password. As I've said, chances are you have been migrated already to PT2. And as soon as you have retrieved your password, you can go on with your normal integrations. But chances are when we have used proxy, you are able to transact immediately. Okay, are the profile ID and client keys the same as the older version? No, it's not. Your profile keys or your client keys are available in the developer section. Okay, merchant ID, Jackberries, yeah, we will look into that. We have taken a note. So is there a live link for help? Yes, you can. And I have integrated with Shopify, and now when I test it, I'm getting an error message. Yes, so Pam, we will look into that. Thank you for sharing your MID. We will get back to you. Okay, so link is there. The solutions articles, it's shared in the chat channel. credentials. This is related to the migration. Is there anyone else that would like to ask some questions? Right, please drop an email when you ask for. Okay. Customer care, customercare@paytabs.com. All right, thank you everyone for joining us in today's webinar. We look forward to hearing from you, and we wish you all the best and happy transacting in PT2. Bye now.